Police to investigate Azwaja president under Sedition Act. National coach charged with raping diver. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. You're watching the evening edition of News on 2. I'm Carlos. Police have opened an investigation paper against the president of Pertubuhan Ahli Sunnah wal Jamaah, or Azwaja, Dr. Zamihan Madzin, on his statement which insulted the Sultan of Johor during a talk in Shah Alam on Sunday. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi Harun said Dr. Zamihan has yet to be called to provide his statement on this matter.
Siasatan di bawah Akta Hasutan Section 4 itu kita ini akan laksanakan. Ini siasatan lah, laporan kita kena proaktif.
Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi said this during the Breakfast Talk Integrity talk show titled National Security Sustainability Integrity Perspective at the Police Training Center in Kuala Lumpur. In his speech, Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi also emphasized on 4 key priorities in the effort to preserve integrity and to restore the image of the force in the eyes of the people. These 4 priorities are returning to basics, maintaining integrity and avoiding corruption, fighting gambling, syndicated crimes and gangsterism, and empowering intelligence-led policing, ILP. Pakatan Harapan will not be allowed to hold its anti-kleptocracy rally scheduled to be held at Padang Timur in Petaling Jaya on Saturday. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi Harun said that as of today, police received 4 reports from the residents around the vicinity against the rally. Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi said the residents are worried the rally will cause traffic congestion. Police are also not allowing it for reasons of safety and due to possible overcrowding.
Antara 20,000 orang akan hadir. Kapasiti tempat tu not more than 10,000. Jadi bayangkanlah kalau tempat yang sempit dan itu akan menjadi limpahan kesesakan sebab berdekatan dia tak jauh daripada highway.
He said after attending an integrity talk at Police Training Center or Pulapol in Kuala Lumpur today, Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi suggested the organizers hold the rally at Stadium Kelana Jaya. A national diving coach was charged with raping a 20-year-old national diver at the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court today. And Huang Chiang, a 35-year-old Malaysian citizen who migrated from China, claimed trial to the charges that was read out by an interpreter before Judge 1 Muhammad Norisham 1 Yaakob. And according to the charge sheet, the offence was allegedly committed at the National Aquatic Centre in Bukit Jalil on September 26. Huang is being charged under Section 376 of the Penal Code. If found guilty, the offence is punishable with a jail term of up to 20 years and whipping upon conviction. Huang was detained on October 2nd following a report that was lodged by the athlete's father. The court later set bail at 50,000 ringgit with 2 sureties and ordered the accused to report himself at the nearby police station twice a month. The court also fixed November 6th for case mention. The judge also ordered the accused not to approach the victim or the witnesses in the case, failing which his bail would be revoked. Huang Chiang was involved with the recent Kita Juara Sukan C project, whereas the athlete did not participate in KL 2017. Former actor, who is also the managing director of DBI Properties, Dato' Nurilaman A. Rahman, also known as Boy Iman, was remanded for 2 days starting today to enable investigation into a fraudulent house sale involving losses of up to 6.8 million ringgit. Now, Boy Iman was brought to Jitra Magistrates Court in Kedah in a police vehicle this morning. And besides Boy Iman, 3 directors from the Syarikat Juta Kelulut Global Resources, including a woman, all aged between 30 to 45 years, involved in the same case, was remanded to facilitate investigations under Section 420 of the Penal Code. The remand order was issued by the court's magistrates, Abdul Hasi Kamihi Harun. Prior to this, they were all arrested and charged in Ampang, Shah Alam, Selangor, Muar, Johor and Sungai Petani, Kedah. The investigation on the case of the home sale scam allegedly committed by DBI Properties and Juta Kelulut Global Resources Company involves victims from Negeri Sembilan, Johor, Selangor and Kedah. On Monday, Boy Iman was arrested at the Bukit Indah police station in Johor for suspected involvement in fraud of house sales. To date, There are 210 reports of DBI Properties fraud housing schemes, and police have received from victims across Malaysia. Well, Kuantan Children's Special Court has awarded a 1-month temporary custody beginning today to the biological father of the 10-year-old child who was found tied by his neck to a gas tank recently. And the order was issued by Magistrate Tengku Eliana Tuan Kamaruzaman after an application for permission was made by the District Social Welfare Department, or JKMD, officer Zalina Yusof.
State Welfare Department Assistant Director for Child Welfare, Azmi Ibrahim, said the department will work toward gaining the full custody of the child for the biological father. He also added that the department will also look into the custodial rights for his 16 and 13-year-old siblings.
Kita akan tackle mana yang perlu dululah. Kita lebih keutamaan kita kepada kanak-kanak yang didera itu. Yang sebenarnya kita akan buat follow up, tengoklah apa perbincangan kita dengan bapa kandung dia itu sendiri.
On October 5th, the boy was found chained to a gas cylinder and unconscious at the floor of his house in Indra Mahkota about 10 a.m. after he had refused to attend school. Following the incident, the stepfather of the victim is remanded under Section 31, Subsection 1 of the Child Amendment Act 2016.
A 34-year-old civil servant claimed trial at the Ipoh Sessions Court for misappropriating over 11,000 ringgit belonging to the State Public Works Department 2 years ago. Nur Faiza Muhammad, who was the assistant accountant with the department, was alleged to have fraudulently misused petty cash by approving 3 payment vouchers to a company by the name of Sricom Solutions without the knowledge of her department head. All the offences were committed at the Mechanical Branch, JKR Lorong Lahad Ipoh, on June 26, June 30th and July 8, 2015. The offences under Section 403 of the Penal Code carries a jail term of between 6 months to 5 years, whipping and a fine. Judge S. Indra Nehru set bail at 20,000 ringgit for all 3 charges with 1 surety and fixed October 23rd for the next mentioned date. The case is set for remention on October 23rd. The prosecution was done by Deputy Public Prosecutor of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, Nurul Wahida Jalaluddin, while the accused was unrepresented. Well, 2 men pleaded not guilty in a Johor Bahru Sessions Court for allegations of destroying homicide evidence. D. Kishendra, aged 24, and K. Mathan Raj, aged 31, respectively worked as a factory operator and security guard in Singapore, had made the plea in front of Judge Kamaruddin Kamsun. Now, both the accused were charged for committing the offence at around 7:50 a.m. at a bus stop at Jalan Persiaran Sungai Danga Perling on September 21st. The male duo, both from Perak, were charged under Section 201 of the Penal Code, which was read along with Section 34 of the same code. If convicted, the offender can be jailed for up to 7 years and fined. The judge has set bail at 12,000 ringgit for Kishendra and 10,000 ringgit for Mathan Raj, and each with 1 surety. And the case was led by Deputy Prosecutor Suhaila Safiuddin, while the accused was represented by R. Subash and Muhammad Ashraf Muhammad Dia, as well as Ahmad Yusri Ahmad Fuad. The judge set November 9 for the remention of the case and submission of documents. The Kelantan Police is actively hunting down 13 of the 800 most wanted fugitives since more than 3 years ago. 3 of them are involved in murder cases.
Kelantan CID Chief ACP Muhammad Fakri Che Sulaiman said they were Muhammad Nasaruddin Abdullah, 23, Shukri Muhammad Abia, 36, and Sokim Sa, 31. Police are also on the lookout for Ahmad Shazwan Ayub, 21, who is involved in kidnapping. 9 other wanted fugitives are listed below. All of these fugitives are believed to have moved and changed their appearances to avoid being detected by the authorities.
Kenapa mereka ni berada dalam masyarakat dan mereka inilah yang melakukan kesalahan. Jadi kalau sekiranya masyarakat tu tahu, jadi dia boleh beri bantuan kepada kita lah. Kita mengesan mereka dan kita akan buat tangkapan terhadap mereka lah.
ACP Muhammad Fakri said this at a press conference held at the Kelantan Police Contingent Headquarters in Kota Bahru today. Members of the public who have any information on the matter are requested to contact the nearest police station.
The Royal Malaysian Navy, TLDM, will not protect its officers or members if they are found guilty of violating the Standard Operating Procedures, or SOP, for torturing and causing the death of 2 TLDM members at the Sungai Wangi Detention Room, Setiawan, Perak, on September 29th. Now, Navy Chief Admiral Tan Sri Ahmad Kamarul Zaman Ahmad Badaruddin stressed that the SOP prohibits such action during training and work.
Admiral Tan Sri Ahmad Kamarul Zaman said an internal investigation board has been set up to review the SOP and will provide full cooperation to the police in order for the investigation to run smoothly.
Kita mempunyai semua dari segi perintah dan juga SOP yang jelas menyatakan bahawa kita tidak membenarkan dan tidak boleh menerima apa-apa tindakan yang melanggar peraturan termasuk penderaan, dan telah banyak kali juga dalam beberapa kali juga tindakan yang diambil termasuk memecat mereka yang bersabit kesalahan.
Admiral Tan Sri Ahmad Kamarul Zaman said this at a press conference held after receiving a courtesy call from Singapore Chief of Navy Rear Admiral Liu Chen Hong at the TLDM headquarters in Kuala Lumpur today. He added that the welfare of the victims' families will be taken care of and is currently expediting the process of giving them assistance. So far, police have detained 7 TLDM members to facilitate into the investigation of the incident.
53 fishermen, including 2 Thai nationals, were detained for trespassing into the traditional zone of Zone A near Song Song Island of the waters near Yan, Kedah. And they were caught for fishing prohibited fish species during a 6-day operation that ended yesterday, hauling in 6 million ringgit in seized vessels and equipment, plus 1.6 metric tons of fish worth 5,000 ringgit. And speaking to the media today, Director of the State Fisheries Department, Abdul Halim Marzuki, said all the detainees were aged between 30 to 50 years, and the case is being investigated under Section 25, 26 and 31 of the Fisheries Act 1985. The offence is also punishable by suspending and cancellation of licence under Section 13 of the same Act. The Fisheries Department only allows 70% of its anchovies and 30% of other small fish species to be caught. However, the suspects had caught 48% of anchovies and 52% of other small fish species over the quota limit. The State Fisheries Department has so far dealt with 58 cases of prohibited fish species fishing this year, seizing over 10 million ringgit in fish and seized vessels. Continuous heavy rainfall since 5:30 a.m. today has caused flash floods on the main roads in Kepala Batas and Jitra, while school sessions at SK Bukit Pinang was cut short when flood water half a meter deep inundated the school. And the Malaysian Civil Defence Force, or APAM, team was deployed to assist the 600 pupils in leaving the school at about 10 a.m. when the water rose to knee level. It is learned that the water have started to seep into classrooms located on the ground floor since 6:30 a.m. and the level increased following the continuous downpour. SMK Tengku Anum in Jitra is also affected amid several roads being flooded. The public in Kedah have been advised to brace for the second wave of floods after over 3,000 people in several districts were evacuated following an unusual heavy continuous rainfall for several days. Last Saturday, Natural Resources and Environment Minister Dato Sri Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar was reported as saying that Malaysia is expected to be hit by major floods this month due to the monsoon transition period. The search and rescue efforts continue today for a man who was swept away by fierce currents in Sungai Kenerong, Dabong, Kuala Krai, Kelantan yesterday evening. And Zamri Abdullah, 44, is feared to have drowned after slipping into Sungai Kenerong when he went with his wife Nur Zalmawati Matinot, 43, and his brother Zamzuki Abdullah, 40, to the river to find a stone to put on his mother's grave, who died 3 days ago. And during the 2 p.m. incident, the water level rose suddenly when they were in the river, causing them to frantically save themselves. The victim and his brother slipped and fell into the river and were swept away by the strong currents. Zamzuki managed to cling to a rock, but the victim was swept out of sight. The firefighters arrived at the scene at 4:15 p.m. and mounted the search and rescue efforts when they rescued Zamzuki, who was trapped across the river. The Dabong volunteer firefighters, the police and RELA members were also involved in the search and rescue efforts. The Johor government is requesting for all abandoned teachers' quarters in the state to be turned into multi-purpose buildings for newly transferred teachers and for low-income earners. State Health, Environment, Education and Information Committee Chairman Dato' Ayub Rahman said a proposal has been submitted to the Education Minister, Dato' Sri Mahathir Khalid.
Dato' Ayub also suggested that these quarters be rented out to interested agencies as temporary premises or resident centres. He added that the rental revenue can then be utilised by the State Education Department.
Masa awal perancangan memang kehendak guru-guru. Terutama guru-guru yang baru transit, guru bujang dan sebagainya. Tapi apabila guru tu dah kahwin, dia berpindah. Dan guru-guru lain tak nak di situ. Maka kita nak jadikan quarters ini sebagai satu bangunan yang boleh pelbagai guna oleh agensi yang lain, tetapi bergantung kepada peraturan dan juga kebenaran daripada KPM.
Dato' Ayub said this when commenting on the 3 Sekolah Kebangsaan Kamarul Arifin teachers' quarters in Tenang near Labis, Johor, which was abandoned for 6 years.
Well, coming up, MAHB to introduce Airside Transfer at KLIA2 next year. Before we go on, let's take a look at the latest weekly fuel price effective midnight. Prime Minister Dato' Sri Najib Tun Razak today witnessed the handing over of the Green Sukuk financing document for 2 large-scale solar projects, or LSS, introduced by the government in 2015 worth 1.25 billion ringgit. Now, the financing is an innovative way to provide global funding for sustainable development projects under the Sustainable and Responsible Investment Sukuk framework. Now, the financing is the first in the world, which is a result of cooperation between the Securities Commission, Bank Negara Malaysia and the World Bank Group. The handing over of the document was done between the respective investors of Tadau Energy Sendirian Berhad and Quantum Solar Park Peninsula Sendirian Berhad. Also in attendance were Deputy Prime Minister Dato' Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi and Energy, Green Technology and Water Minister Dato' Sri Dr. Maximus Jonathy Onkili. A new service called the Airside Transit will be introduced at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA, by next year, in line with KLIA's growth as an international flight hub. Deputy Transport Minister Dato' Abdul Aziz Kaprawi said the service is expected to facilitate passengers from KLIA2 to transit directly to KLIA1 and create a smoother travelling experience for them.
Kita sedang berancang untuk membuat Airside Transfer. Airside Transfer ni maknanya penumpang daripada yang turun di KLIA 2, dia boleh transit pergi ke KLIA 1. Dan ini akan memberi kemudahan kepada passenger untuk menjadikan KLIA sebagai pusat transit dia lah.
Dato' Abdul Aziz said this after launching the Malaysia Airport 70 Years of Airport Fire and Rescue Services, AFRS, at the Malaysia Airport Training Centre in Sabang, Selangor. Of the 833 AFRS around the country, 250 are stationed at KLIA.
The Johor State Investment Centre, JSIC, is committed in bringing in more investors from China, Japan and South Korea to invest in the state. And State Tourism, Domestic Trade and Consumerism Committee Chairman Dato' T. Siu Kiong said JSIC is currently in talks with potential investors from the chemical, logistics and biomass sector.
Dan mereka boleh membantu kita mempromosikan kerajaan negeri Johor kepada kawan-kawan mereka di negara mereka masing-masing. Dan saya anggap ini mustahak.
Dato' Aziz said this to reporters after attending the JSIC website launching ceremony and industrial joint networking session at the Progressive Johor Expo at Iskandar Putri. And according to Dato' T, 45% of local and international investors from the manufacturing sector invested in Johor last year. Now, meanwhile, 650,000 job opportunities in the same sector were created during 2013 to last year. Top story, national coach charged with raping diver. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Amin Carlos. Stay tuned to TV2 and good night.